So, welcome to today's Business Spotlight. Today, we're very lucky to have Robert Whelan from Rockwell. Robert, how are you today?
I'm great, Tom. How are you?
Fantastic. Great to have you on board. And our audience are dying to find out who you are, what you do, and how long have you been doing it?
Fantastic. Okay, so yeah, Rockwell is my firm. We're a wealth management business based in the Liberties in Dublin 8 on Francis Street. What we do is we advise SME owners, founders, leaders, as well as anyone in senior positions in multinationals about their financial planning and wealth management needs. We also provide an employee benefits service. So for that's SMEs who are looking to set up employee benefits, pension schemes for their staff, um, life insurance schemes, that type of stuff. We've been providing that all this now for about 11 years.
Very good. So, you've got through the recession, you kind of managed to grow and everything else. I see on your website you've quite a team there.
We do, yeah.
So, has that been an important part of your growth?
Oh, there's no question. I'm very fortunate that I took the old adage, always hire smarter people than yourself. So no, I have a very good team. We had, to be very honest with you, it's been a bit of a growth journey. We were only at 5 people going into COVID. So we're at 31 now.
Wow.
So it's been a bit of a journey, yeah. But I wouldn't have, there's zero chance I'd have done it without the quality of the people surrounding me. No, no chance.
And did you work with any outside advisors, or was it all in-house that you used, or
No,
what do you
absolutely.
attribute your growth to?
I'm a huge believer in coaching.
Okay.
I have obviously a business coach and I have a performance coach, to be very honest with you, who perform different roles with me. And it's been incredibly important for me to have that outlet because I'm somebody who needs accountability. And when you are sitting at the top of the food chain, it's very lonely. It's an incredibly lonely position, particularly when things aren't going well.
Mm.
So having those resources and those people available to you to one, keep you accountable, but two, just to talk to and help you make the right decisions. And ultimately, it's never about them making a decision for you, but their experience, whatever facet, is about giving you asking you the right questions so you'll come to the right decision for yourself and for the business. So yeah.
Right. So improving your leadership skills has been a great bonus to you in the growth of your business.
Mm.
What would you say the biggest challenges have been since you started back in 2012?
Oh. The biggest challenge was making the decision whether to pivot in the industry that I'm in, I suppose, in giving financial advice.
Mhm.
Okay. There are 1,900 regulated intermediaries in Ireland. So it's a very fragmented market. And for the vast majority of the firms in the industry, they're kind of one, two-person firms. And which means, so I kind of came to a crossroads in 2018 when I was deciding whether to make it a lifestyle business or
Mhm.
make it an actual business. And believe it or not, it was an action coach session that you did with a brokers association I was in down in the K Club one day. And it was about just what is a business and the life cycle of a business and when you get yourself to a
Yes.
stage where the business functions without you.
Yes.
That stuck in my head. I remember that. And so I decided the biggest challenge was making the decision that to actually grow the business because it involved a huge amount of work and risk. And since then, it's presented me with the biggest challenge, which is people, getting the right people in. As a business owner, everyone, we did a survey last year with the Currency publication and the Morrick of SME owners, and we got over 500 and something replied. And the number one issue wasn't inflation, wasn't Brexit, wasn't anything. It was recruitment and retention. It's a huge challenge, and getting the people into the business to allow me to scale, allow us to scale. That's been a huge challenge. Yeah, others present themselves, but without question, that's been the huge challenge. And but thankfully, we seem to be navigating it okay.
Excellent. So that obviously needs to be nicely into culture.
Mm,
Culture 20 years ago, what did it mean? Nobody really knew what it meant.
mm,
It was an American thing, but it has
yeah.
become, as you say, a really important area to make sure that you address when you're growing your business to retain your staff and indeed to onboard new staff. So
Yes.
you found that to be the case with you as well?
Yeah, like we've worked hard at our shared vision and purpose, and it's to me. Someone said to me recently, since you've grown the business, what's been the change in your work pattern or whatever? And I said, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I think 50% of my time is chief culture officer because I have a very good mentor, another advisor in my network, a very good mentor, and who sat me down the first day I told him I wanted to set up my own business and told me, if you don't nail a culture, you'll never nail a business. So
Interesting.
it's incredibly important. The culture in the company is that everybody is responsible for everything. And what I mean by that is that I practice quite empathetic leadership. So I openly allow or give the environment for people can question, um, ask, work. There's never, it's very much about them feeling empowered to be able to make suggestions and knowing that if we've a decision based on a suggestion, if we've decided not to do it, it's not because they're bad people, it's just because it didn't fit the business needs. And we passionately believe that what's good for the client is good for the business. Now, in my business, everyone understands that we get paid, and the commissions and fees and all that stuff. It can sound like a dirty word. I just look at it as just remuneration, it's just how we get paid. But
Yes.
what we try and do is with the culture with the team when they come in, because some of them have joined from say other organizations in the industry where we wouldn't have been the culture, and we reassure them from the get-go that in here, yes, we are unashamed about our profitability. It's very important. No point having a business this is profitable. However, it's not at the cost to the client or the client experience. And delivering on the client experience is my number one role in the company. And we always, I say to them in here we don't satisfy the client, we must delight the client. And it's very much getting that culture into the team is the reason how we'll be able to achieve our targets over the next few
So
years.
the customer experience is very high in your list, which of course it should be.
Huge.
So could I just ask you based on that then, what would be the top, say, 3 qualities that you'd look for when you're hiring new team members?
It depends on the role, I suppose, but we do have everybody gets an EQ questionnaire. So because we're in a people business, we do try to attract candidates who would have a strong level of emotional intelligence. So as part of the recruitment process, that would be sent to all final candidates. Not every candidate, but final candidates will certainly be asked to complete that, right? And it would we would match that with a profile within the particular department that they might be looking to join. And we would have we've come to an agreement with the management that there's a level below which we won't live with, because if they don't buy into that culture, right, then they're just not going to fit. And they could be brilliant technically or brilliant operationally or brilliant advisors, all good stuff, but just won't fit, you know. We look for people who embrace change. Like the second characteristic, I always say, if you remove the word change and use the word improve, suddenly it sounds a lot better. Everyone tells you they're in favor of change till it's presented in front of them. The nature of this business, particularly over the last few years, has been that we've invested a huge amount in technology and automation. And we have an operational ERP that we've invested in, and we're about to launch a client platform. And it's all around making it as frictionless as possible to engage with Rockwell. And with that has come change in responsibilities, change in roles, change in processes. And everyone's told this in interview, and at the end of their first day in the company, everyone starts on a Monday, and because I'm always here, and then towards the end of the day, no matter what their role is, they come in for a cup of coffee with me, and it's just for me to find out a bit about them, welcome to the company and all that, but they all get the same speech. They all get told that, like, in order to succeed in this business, you need to have a couple of key characteristics. One, you need to have a naturally positive disposition. That's not to say that if you don't have a naturally positive disposition, you're a bad person. It's just not going to really work out for you here. And that's what we're trying to work toward with the personality tests. The second one is you must be receptive to change and improvement. It's not to say that if you're not that type of person who likes it, you're a bad person. It's just to say you really won't be happy here. You'll find it, you'll struggle and you won't progress. And the third thing is you must be passionately committed to treating the clients as if your own family would like to be treated. And if you can't deliver on that, well, then you really will struggle here, because it's at the core of our shared vision that we will commit to treat clients as if how we would like our own family members to be treated. Not how we would treat them, how we would like them to be treated by someone else. So that's really important in terms of framing it for them. And Yeah, so getting them to buy into those concepts and assessing like ultimately the third one is always about competency. Like you can have
Yes.
the greatest EQ in the world, and you can have your positive disposition, you love change, and you'll always commit. But if you can't do the bloody job, well, then unfortunately you can't
Yeah.
hire you. So competency is always there. Yeah.
So I hear we're talking about how important the people are within the business and how
Yeah.
they are confident, how they do their job, but equally for your consumers, what would you say your UX from their perspective is? Do you work differently from other people, do you believe, and do you instill more confidence with them? Or how do you make they say, yes, we'll go with you, Robert, rather than somebody else?
To be very frank, I have always said that the people in our industry, if they were ever honest with clients, and by the way, I say this to clients all the time, so my
Yeah,
own clients will be watching
yeah,
this, he says this, we're just different brands of supermarket, unfortunately, right? Because ultimately, none of us create a product. As in, clients come to you with a problem. I need to make more money from my company and get money out and put it into an investment or make a pension or I'm worried if something happens to me, I need business protection, all that type of stuff we do, right? But ultimately, we don't build it, we don't design it, we just effectively resell it.
yeah,
And because of that, you really are down to experience. So because you can't now, what I have done is realize that that is a fundamental weakness in my growth plan. Because if all I am is a different brand of supermarket, right? How do you really differentiate? And we decided to go by customer experience
yeah,
and how we put ourselves, how we would say we are a bit different is our use of technology is literally second to none. And I've had mystery shoppers prove that for me. And where we're going with our technology will be best in class in terms of like, as part of our strategy process, I was asked to define what would I like our clients to say about us in 3 years' time. And there's all these different statements, but one of them was the easiest people to deal with. And I really want to make it because our clients are very busy business people.
yeah,
I know what their days are like because I am one.
yes,
And all I want in life is somebody who I can just talk to and trust, who does what they said they were going to do, when they said they were going to do it. And when I need something done externally, it's easy to get it done. If there's a change to be made, I don't have to have 16 different things. It's very easy to work with them, and it's easy to get the information, and it's easy to set up a meeting, and it's easy to see where my money is. And so that's in terms of positioning ourselves,
yes,
the quality of the people because it's such a people-driven business,
yeah,
it's really about we're trying to get the right people in here. But you can outside of the intangible, the tangible is that client experience. And listen, our technical knowledge is great, like on wealth extraction from businesses in particular. We're very, very good on that stuff. But there's loads of firms, and I mean loads, like about 10, 15 in the country who I would say are equally as good, if I'm honest.
Well, you've touched on technology and it's amazing. It's coming like a train. There's a lot of stuff coming out that's going to disrupt lots of different industries. To
Mm.
my knowledge and my experience so far is a lot of people are blind. They don't see it coming, which is a little bit a shame. It's a bit of a shock to them. But from the user experience, that's very important. For the future, then, what does the next, say, 10-year period in your industry look like? And you see big changes happening?
Oh, without question. And the next generation of consumers for financial advice who hit the jobs market, say in about 5 years' time, they'll be looking to Revolut or maybe even Google or Apple directly for financial services, particularly the kind of the low hanging, the standard stuff, like which really isn't our business, but like mortgage
Yeah,
protection stuff like that.
yeah,
But they're being introduced to investing by the likes of Revolut. So the biggest change in our
interesting.
industry, yeah, the biggest change
Yeah,
in our industry is like, for instance, what I have done is with my, so we've invested in this operational ERP platform. What it basically did was, Tom, I took 5 people and I made them, and I say I made them redundant, I made their role redundant with this new system made their role redundant.
okay.
What we did was we flagged it 9 months in advance and we gave everybody an opportunity to express an interest in redeployment for a different role within the business
And
where they could
upskilling.
add,
Yeah,
value, right?
yeah,
And it's worked brilliantly. And
excellent.
but it meant that so if you because the way I see it going is as a firm in our position, if you don't use technology to make the customer experience as frictionless as possible, you're not going to be able to compete when it comes to pricing, because that's another challenge I see with the market is clients are becoming more and more aware of pricing and the impact of fees on the performance of their investments, etc.
Sure.
So whilst I'm unapologetic about trying to make a profit, at the same time you need to be competitive.
Yeah.
And if your cost base is disproportionately high versus us as Rockwell, do you know what I'm trying to say? So what I'm trying to do is keep us as lean as possible by leveraging technology to make the operational piece as lean as possible. That allows us then to be able to present our fee structure to the client and remain competitive, maybe where in our industry, if you don't embrace technology, you will find that your costs may it'd be very difficult for you to actually have a viable business in 7-8 years time if you haven't embraced technology.
I think that's really interesting when you mentioned Google and Apple and stuff, because lots of these different services that were owned by particular groups may no longer retain full ownership of those offerings.
Whoever owns your data owns you.
If
you at Amazon, like if you'd have said to me growing up as a child going into Quinsworth that 20 years time I could have bought car insurance and travel insurance and life insurance at the supermarket till, I would have said, you're nuts. I think that Amazon won't be at some stage selling insurance products because how are these companies going to grow? They need more avenues for growth. So I definitely think that's where it's going.
Excellent. Last question for you, and thank you for giving us the time here today.
No problem.
What advice would you give to an 18-year-old you?
Oh, an 18-year-old me.
Yeah.
Don't do the BCom, become an electrician. No, genuinely, an 18-year-old me. Great question. I honestly would trust yourself, trust your gut. Every time most of the time when I come to a crossroads on a decision, the ones I regret are the ones I didn't trust my gut. So maybe the ones it seems to have been. I think it's because you'll always, particularly when you're entrepreneurially minded, it's almost like you don't mind if it's your own mess. You don't mind being in it. So it's kind of like if you created it, you say, "Well, I'll get myself out of it." You know, that type of way. Whereas, because you said, "Well, I made this decision," and I'll just dig through it because I'll come out the other side. It probably would be that.
Excellent. I like that question because there are a lot of younger people who watch these sort of podcasts and they're looking for a little bit of advice. Trust yourself. Try it.
Well, if I was
ask for help.
Absolute help. But if I was talking to an 18-year-old today, and I'm very passionate about this, and have a conversation with someone who isn't your dad or your mom, because you're going to say they're boring, right? But someone who is of their generation, about what they think you should be thinking of. And just and take it on board. You don't have to buy into it, but just take it on board.
Quite agree. Robert Whelan, rockwellfinancial.ie. Am I right? Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Guys, get onto their website, have a quick look at that. Thank you for your time today, and I wish you every success in the coming future.
Thank you. Cheers, Tom. Appreciate it.